what cells in your body do you think are rapidly multiplying? So that we can actually compare the side effects of chemo to this talk that we are having. So which cells in your body do you think are multiplying rapidly? Now I want you to mention just one side effect that you know of chemotherapy. So I'll tell you which cells it's targeting. Just mention one side effects of chemo: hair and nail loss. Yes, hair and nail loss, because hair is part and the nails are part of the skin, and the skin cells are rapidly multiplying and shedding off. The turnover is very high. Blood cells. Which blood cells? Red blood cells. A turnover of 120 days. The immune cells coming from the bone marrow, because the cancer chemotherapy targets the bone marrow cells and suppresses them. Most of you know the hair loss. Yes, hair loss is part of the skin. So that's the most one. Nausea, because immediately you inject, they stimulate the chemoreceptor trigger zone in the head. Vomiting comes in. Anemia, because they suppress the bone marrow. The bone marrow cells are rapidly multiplying. Digestive issues, yes, ulcers of the mouth and ulcers of the gut. Why? Because these are epithelial cells. They are rapidly multiplying. That's why when you bite yourself today, the next minute you're healing already. Turning black around the eyes, that's part of the skin again. Diarrhea is just a normal side effect for all medications. Is part of them. Neuropathy, because again, no, neuropathy is not specifically for the chemotherapy agents, but again, this can come actually as a result of diabetes, because most people who are diagnosed with cancer have diabetes already. So they had the neuropathy, but it was not just outbursting, okay? Add weight, most of them lose weight. Most of them lose weight. Trust me, Sonny Big. Most of them lose weight. If they end up adding weight, it's because of the supplements that they're being given. Infertility, perfect one. That's another one, because the gonad cells are actually rapidly multiplying. So we are doing a turnover of ovum cells. We are turning over the sperm cells and all that. And the gonads are rapidly multiplying. That's why they suppress the gonads. And that's why you're told, please, if you've not had children, this can be a problem to you. Headaches, another side effect that is general for all drugs. So headaches, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Side effects of most of the drugs. Neutropenia, yes. Fatigue, yes. Fatigue is coming in because you're having anemia. Neutropenia is coming in because you're suppressing the bone marrow. Loss of appetite, that's going to go because of the vomiting. And then you're now given ondansetron and more supplements to actually help you survive. What else? Coughing. No, coughing is a different side effect. Nausea, a very normal one for every drug, but this one's called severe nausea. Low white blood cells count, yes, because you're suppressing the bone marrow. If you're young, you expect the bones to become very, very delicate because they're actually turning over. Weak joints, yes, the bone end of the joint is turning over. That's a problem. Chemotherapy destroys those osteoclasts. Are they called osteoclasts? Nyinyi mnajua mambo mengi. Osteoporosis can actually come more in women who are actually receiving chemotherapy. Why? Because they have high estrogen levels also, and some of them are given estrogen replacement therapy, and that is actually coming in to actually weaken the bones. Oh, pain is because of the cancer itself. Nyinyi watu ni wajanja. Kumbe mnajua hizi vitu ni kupretend, mna pretend. You guys know these things. So all the side effects that are coming as a cancer, you just go and look at the 7 major side effects of cancer. You will see they're actually associated with rapidly multiplying tissues and cells in the system. You will understand it clearly. So therefore, do you want to go that lane? Imagine, how did you even guys forget to mention low immunity? Low immunity, suppression of the bone marrow, destruction of the liver and the kidneys, going to give you low immunity. And also, how did you fail to mention malnutrition? Because some of them who are losing weight is because these ulcers that are forming in the gut, you are now unable to absorb nutrients in the adequate amounts. Now you go into malnutrition. Bruising and bleeding, yes, because the skin and the mouth, all those ulcerations. So bruising and bleeding coming in as a result of this, and also affecting the liver. When you affect the liver, you're affecting the clotting factors, problems. Also, you're not able to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins from the gut because it's ulcerated. So when you're unable to absorb vitamin K, clotting becomes a problem, right? You see the relationships? It is easy to see these things. Ni rahisi. Inadequate blood quantity, yes, because of the bone marrow suppression. Cognitive issues, yes, because of the brain damage. But the brain is being affected later on. Okay? You guys are the best audience ever. Emotional and psychological issues. Now, those ones are not side effects, but these ones are actually the downfall of this, because once you've diagnosed with cancer, of course, fear comes in. The problem comes in now, you're so emotionally stressed, and now you raise your stress levels. Problems again, because when you raise your stress levels, you raise cortisol, blood sugar goes up, more cancer. So the risk factors for cancer. Risk factor number one, the obvious one. People tell you genetics. Genes. I've constantly told you that genes cause only 2 to 10% of the roles in conditions. And we've already talked about the genes that actually here to help you survive. So even if genes are causing you problems, the same genes, we have genes that are actually going to fix the problem. So please, doctors, oncologists, stop telling us about the genes now. Because you're making us think that genes are so bad. Yet we have these 3 types of genes that actually suppress the cancer. So let's focus on the real cases. Let's not focus on what is 2 to 10%. Okay? So even that one, watch at work account. Number one, predisposing factor number 1, genes and genetic predisposition. Number 2, lifestyle, which is the largest, plus environmental factors. So somebody has just mentioned sugar, and we are going to that sugar right now. So lifestyle, number 1 on the lifestyle is smoking cigarettes. Cigarette smoking is involved in 95% of mutations and 98% of health conditions. So if you're a smoker, problems. If you are somebody who consumes shisha, problems. If you are somebody who actually thinks that because you're taking the nicotine tablets, you are safer than somebody who smokes, problems. If you're somebody who uses the patch to actually help you win off the addiction to cigarettes, problems. Nicotine in any form, whether vaping, whether smoking cigarettes, whether using nicotine patches or using nicotine tablets or chewing gum, you have to stop. Find a way to stop it. Number 2, alcohol. One of the most useless products on this surface of the earth. It was designed to be used as an anesthetic agent, and also to so that you can actually use it for surgery. But now people are using it for recreational purposes, and then you end up getting physical and emotional and physical and physiological dependence, and now you become an addict. And I think most people who drink alcohol don't like drinking alcohol. They don't. They are using alcohol to shed off their life failings. Now listen, most doctors drink alcohol and they are drunkards. The reason why they're drunkards is not because they like alcohol, no. They became addicts because 1, lack of identity, and number 2, because they failed totally in their field to actually change lives of people. They thought when they were getting into this course, they will change lives of people. And then they come out here, they're chasing money all the time. They'll never get satisfied. And then they are struggling to fit in the society. Because when you're called a doctor, how can you walk on your feet? How can you even walk barefoot? There's a type of car that is being actually, you need to drive. Your children have to be in a specific school. You have to have a certain type of office. So these are the pressures that are actually coming to doctors. And because the salary of a doctor, even that extra thing that you're doing as a doctor, is not enough to keep you on a place equivalent to people who are actually doing trading. If at all there's something called trading. To those people who are doing money laundering, to politicians who are looting resources, it is not possible. So therefore, for you to actually fit in, you have to do things that are crazy. But now, once you realize you cannot fit into that societal construct, and now you have to actually make sure that you're actually struggling. So for you to actually avoid that burden of failure, because they're looking at you thinking, "Hey, Doctor, why are your children in public school? Why is this happening?" So for you to actually do that, you get into alcoholism, so that people will say, alikuwa daktari mzuri, pombe iliharibu daktari. This was the best doctor, but alcohol. So you were looking for a scapegoat for your problems, for your failures in life, so that people will not judge. Imagine you're at 60, you've never made it anyway. You're stealing from people through the money that you're taking from these people, the drugs that you're selling to them that don't even help. You're stealing from them, and you're a doctor. You're supposed to change their lives, but you're making them more sick so that they can actually come back and feed your ego. And now you have to go into alcoholism because God now alali. You go into alcoholism, and now you're going there, you're actually trying to look for something to actually blame. Mi nilikuwa mbaya. I was that doctor, my friend. Kama si pombe. Kama si pombe. But there are people, that alcohol has been there. There was a time Guinness was sold 3 shillings in the 1950s. Now I think it's 350, still the same alcohol. People are changing. They have come, they have died, they have left the Guinness there. So who told you you're the one who will change the lives of Guinness? Guinness will change your life, it will kill you. Number 3, right? So smoking, alcohol, and then some of us, actually most of us, nowadays we sit in houses that have ACs, that have fans. We don't have exposure to light. And remember, part of our immune system is vitamin D. So The doctors have made us to hate cholesterol. We don't eat cholesterol. Yet vitamin D comes from cholesterol. That's a raw material for vitamin D. And vitamin D is our immune system. So you don't eat cholesterol. You take drugs to lower cholesterol. You lower vitamin D. Your immune system goes down. Now you're antibiotics after antibiotics after antibiotics. Vaccines after vaccines after vaccines. Because of the mistake that you're doing with those statins. Eat fatty meats. Red meat and white meat. And I know there's people who have told you that red meat is going to cause you colon cancer. They are lying to you. The truth is, it is not red meat that causes colon cancer. They are hiding the food industry because of that gentleman. Processed red meats, sausages, smokies, bacon, canned meats are the ones that are responsible for colon cancer because they have MSG. They have preservatives. But imagine you have dropped red meat, but you still eat sausages for breakfast. No wonder you're still there. Same condition, nothing getting better, but you're not even asking doctors why. Some of you have never eaten meat for the longest period of time, but you've been diagnosed with cancer. Where did you get it from? Stop blaming red meat. Eat meat in plenty, make it fatty. Eat fatty meats. Then most of you are struggling with sleep. Imagine you're in the club the whole weekend drinking alcohol. You come back at 5 in the morning. Before you sleep, you're going again. You've been called to go and ease up the hangover. So you're constantly not even having 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Your system is not even rejuvenating. Your system is not even resetting. And then to add on that, you're eating every single time. You're eating after 2 hours. Before you digest your food, you're feeding the stomach. You're using the inflammatory foods, seed oils, wheat, and sugars. All of them inflaming your system so highly. And then you're wondering, how am I even getting this? Why is cancer in my genes? Well, cancer will one day die. You will die, and cancer will still be here. It's not going anywhere. It has been here. So inflammatory foods, lack of sunlight exposure, alcohol, smoking, sedentarism, dehydration, because people just drink water for the sake of it. Add salt in your drinking water for hydration purposes. No sleep problems. So all these things are coming in handy to actually make sure that you are getting the cancer. So therefore, change that lifestyle. It's easy. Change it. Now, on the inflammatory foods, we have 3 that are most common. Sugar in all forms, including those fruits, honey, and processed carbohydrates. Number 2, somebody saying, the doctor said meat causes fibroids. The doctor is supposed to be fired. Wheat and processed wheat products. So if you're eating cake, you've actually eaten a combination of 2 different inflammatory foods. Actually 3. Margarine plus sugar plus wheat. Umekula keki. Na mmekata hiyo keki during the Cancer Awareness Week. Mnakata keki Monday to Friday, mna celebrate na keki. So, sugar, wheat, and seed oils. The vegetable oils that are in the kitchen, those ones in yellow containers, those ones that are liquid that you think they're the best, they are causing you inflammation in the system. But look at it this way. We started by saying cancer spreads so fast through inflamed tissues. So as you're eating inflammatory foods, you're actually encouraging cancer to spread. But the same inflammatory foods are encouraging mutations in the mitochondria. So you encourage mutations, you encourage these cells to evade the cell cycle, you encourage them to come out, you lower your immunity through these same foods, so these cells will multiply rapidly, and then you cause inflammation, you actually help them spread through the lymphatic system and the bloodstream. So how dangerous are inflammatory foods to anybody who has been diagnosed with cancer? How dangerous are they? They are super dangerous because they induce mutations. They help the cells evade the cell cycle. They suppress your immunity. Therefore, those cells that are evading the cell cycle will not be destroyed. And then they will help them multiply rapidly because the immune system is going down. And then they will cause inflammation. So therefore, these cells are actually going to spread even faster and they will destroy you. Number 2, cancer has 2 sources of energy. One is glutamate. Glutamate is an amino acid that is present in all foods. But there's a dangerous glutamate because remember there's a D and an L one. So there's a dangerous one that is actually found in that pizza, found in that chicken that you eat that is crunchy, found in these cubes that you add in vegetables to taste like meat, found in most processed foods. It is called MSG, monosodium glutamate. You hear the word glutamate there? MSG is monosodium glutamate. That is a dangerous thing to your system entirely. Gut mess, brain problems, because these children were actually coming out with all these autism, all these mental health conditions, MSG. So as you're using those processed spices, as you're using that, there is this meat that you people, this meat, let me put that in quotes, this processed meat that you just, it starts with an S and ends with an I. You know it? MSG is in the spaghettis and the noodles that you feed your children. I want you to tell me that name of that in the comment section. There's this meat that starts with an S and ends with an I. Has a lot of S's in between there. Well, and you feed your children that thing. There are these noodles that you don't need to cook. So you have become so lazy that you just take the noodles and soak them in warm water and you have food. That is not food. That's a product that has MSG. Read the ingredients. Sausages have MSG, yes. So you feed your child with bread, which is wheat plus sugar. On top of it, you have put margarine or that, what do you call it? Is red thing that you apply on bread. What is the name of that red thing that you people apply on bread? What is it? This red thing. And then on top of it, they have drawn tomatoes so that you can actually think that this one has tomatoes. Kumbe mnajua. Na ziko kwa nini zenu. I see your influencers opening up a refrigerator to just add those things in the refrigerator. I'm like, this one, it's a matter of time. Nyinyi mnajua hizi vitu bana. So MSG, very dangerous. So do not feed your system. We at least get the natural form of glutamine that's going to help you as an amino acid. But don't use synthetic things. And this also applies to ladies who are using synthetic hormones to fix acne, to fix hormonal imbalances. Those things are not estrogens. They are not natural estrogen. They are estrogens or progestins. They are made in the lab. Somebody has just mentioned ketchup. Thank you for mentioning that. There are these people who come from the West that are consuming canned sardines, canned meats, canned beans, canned foods, and also MSG is added in those high-end restaurants in the soup. Oh, so as you sit there chopping your money, at least chop rice. But as you sit there chopping your money, MSG is being added in your soup to just mask your taste buds so that you don't taste foods in their natural states. And that makes you stay addicted to that food parlor. Canned tuna, anything canned, please read the ingredients. You will see. Sometimes they write it in French. Monosodium glutamate or whatever they want to use. And if you see codes E250, see whatever. There's a code that you don't understand. Do not take that product. So that is the number one source of energy for cancer cells. The number two source of energy for cancer cells is glucose. Now, of course, all cells utilize glucose. But the reason why cells utilize glucose is because we have exposed ourselves to higher content of carbohydrates, and now your cells don't even know any other channel of getting energy. Remember, there's something called gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is sourcing glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. One, of course, is protein. You can break down proteins to get glucose. So stop telling me carbohydrates are energy-giving foods. You can break down fat to get glucose. It's called gluconeogenesis. You generate glucose from new sources that are not carbohydrates. The one for carbohydrates is called glycolysis. So carbohydrates are not energy-giving foods. That's a strategy to make you hooked on those carbohydrates. So the only reason why our bodies appreciate glucose so much is because we've exposed it to glucose. It has now adapted to just using glucose. And that's a problem. So listen. So glucose is very good. Actually, 90 to 95 to 98% of energy sources for cancer cells is glucose. Glutamine is very low, but glucose. So one strategy of destroying cancer cells is denying them glucose and then supplying them with oxygen because they don't like higher oxygen levels. So when you're doing a morning run, just climbing that hill, high glucose is coming, high oxygen is coming in. There's a lot of nutrients being pumped into the system entirely. You're opening up your blood vessels. Oxygen is being ferried into the tissues. Cancer is dying. but you don't want to wake up and go and run, right? Hautaki kukimbia, si utadunga Ozempic, si ndio? Iko daktari amesema kuna bariatric surgery, utaweka balloon. Si uko na $500,000 balloon? Balloon unaweza afford, si ndio? Wewe huwezi kimbia. I mean, wacha tukufe. Tumeona, wacha accept us the way we are. We are going for Ozempic, we are going for gastric balloon, we are going for gastric bypass. We are going to do it in India. We will shoot content and upload on our YouTube channel. Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is me doing bariatric surgery. This is my favorite doctor. Say hi. As many of people say hi. Doctor is saying hi with a mask. He doesn't want to be seen the face because he knows after this surgery there will be complications. He knows. That's why he does the surgery and then forwards you back to Kenya so that you come to Nairobi bariatric surgeons to finish the job that he actually missed in India. Mnafikiria tuwaonangi? Hey, doctor is so effeminate. He's there saying hi. He's actually doing this. Hi, guys. I'm the one who is going to actually cut her stomach because she cannot have the discipline of eating. I'm going to. There's this new one. Nafunga man talking like. You know it. The sleeping wires. I'm going to eat liquid foods. But you know what, guys? You know, I still take juices. The doctor has not told me to drop the juices. I'm just taking juices. Like ugali and porridge are not the same thing, right, guys? So you guys know, ugali and porridge are not the same thing, right? Porridge has low calories. I mean, it's liquid. And ugali is solid, so it has high calories. You know those guys? Now somebody, acha niache kanyaga shingo. Let me let you breathe. Haiwezi. Sometimes I see some content on the internet, I'm like, how far have we fallen? Welcome to Health and Wellness Sport Comedy Show.